Hey guys, and welcome to the absolutely inevitable Assetto Corsa Competizione stream. I've got to fly out to Paul Ricard in about 12 hours, so I'm not going to get a huge amount of time to actually play the game. So I'm not going to be able to do the usual sort of review video I do, well, not at least until next week, I suppose. So what I'm going to do tonight, I think, is I'm just going to do a bunch of quick races with some of the cars and tracks I haven't yet had a chance to drive, and you guys haven't yet had a chance to drive. And just cycle through as much content as I can as quickly as possible. Great to see so many of you in the chat already. See, Josh is in the chat. He's already out at Paul Ricard, I think, so maybe he's already had a chance to play this evening. I don't know, but if anyone wants to see any specific cars and tracks and stuff, shout out in the chat and I'll try and prioritize those choices. I'm going to start out though with the Aston Martin at Brands Hatch, because that's one of the combos I tried in Monza and it was absolutely astounding. So let's jump in and see what happens. I did about 2 laps earlier just to check it all works, so I have no idea. I really can't remember a huge amount about the car track. If you can just shout out if the audio is all okay, the game to microphone volume, that'd be great.
Going double file.
So yeah, the Aston looks and sounds absolutely fantastic. It was the car that left the biggest impression on me in Monza. Yeah, sorry Omega, YouTube doesn't always send out notifications. It's a bit rubbish like that. Try the Aston at Spa as well. Well, if I keep driving the Aston all night, people will get upset. Bad people with wrong opinions, but they'll get upset.
Right, here we go. Go.
Yeah, so I will definitely try the Lexus. I didn't get a chance to try that in Monza, so that's probably high on my list. See the standard AI issues going into hairpins. Yeah, Blancpain's just GT3. So yeah, just trying to get a feel for the Aston at the moment. I should have probably gone over to the aggressive preset. Feels a bit understeery. Could just be temps, I suppose. Chase cam sounds. Yeah, I could do if I had a button map for that. If you remind me towards the end of the race, I can do... Oh, man, that understeered really badly. Yeah, if you remind me towards the end of the race, I will do a quick bit of replay so you can hear the sounds. Oh, man. Yeah, definitely need the aggressive preset on this. It's super understeery. But it does drive really nicely. Understeer aside, probably needs a bit more trail braking than I'm sort of giving it at the moment. Handles the curves really well, which is not where I was really intending to try it, but it seems to. Oh man, that understeer. So I probably should have jumped into a practice session first rather than just straight into a race, but where's the fun in that? Bentley looking very, very good. Still can't decide if I prefer the look of the old Bentley to the new one, but the new one definitely looks meaner. Yeah, I'm really struggling with the understeer a bit, Ben. Yeah, it's probably just the way I'm driving it, to be honest, but the safe presets in Assetto Corsa Competizione have generally been a bit understeery. Now I'm trying to take a bit less, slightly fewer liberties with the car on corner entry. It seems to be a bit better. Oh, spoke too soon. I was sort of expecting the camber of the corner there to help me out a bit. Yeah, I'm racing against the AI just because I've only got a couple of hours here before I've got to fly out, and getting online races that are worthwhile competing in is potentially going to be a bit problematic. Oh. Now this, so the understeer is actually fine. I think it really is just my my driving's a bit enthusiastic on turning. If you trail brake sort of fairly deep into the corner and are gentle on turning on this setup preset, it's absolutely fine. I want to have a go in the 911 actually. That's pretty high on my list. Josh, did you get to see any of the Formula One? I don't know if they ran again today.
Right, man. Anita is on the final
I think it's supposed to be Red Bull and Ferrari doing wet tyre testing. How do I like the game? Yeah, I like the other guys that went to Monza. I had a chance to play a sort of version 0.8 build or whatever you want to call it, which is from what I understand is pretty close to where this is, and yeah, it's very enjoyable. I've been a fan of ACC, which I'm sort of not being shy about saying, so perhaps I'm a bit biased, but this is 3 laps in, we are it's sort of living up to what I'd hoped it would be. I probably shouldn't have started with a car and track that I actually drove a few weeks ago. Not that it has in any way prepared me for this. Hey, After Midnight, how's it going, man? Starting to concentrate too much, that's my problem here. Yeah, man, I was a fan of GTR2. Sort of, it came at a point where I sort of dipped out of sim racing a little while after GTR2 came out. But I've gone back to it recently, and other than the fact that the UI is just not designed for modern screen resolutions, particularly triples. Yeah, really enjoyable.
I'll bring the car back.
Surprising how well bits of it stand up, actually. Yeah, I was using this. Being punted by the AI after the race there. That was nice of them. Yeah, I think I probably was on the safe preset. I certainly didn't change anything, man. Right, so that's the Aston. What should we do next? Ferrari left yesterday. So Max doing tests. So was it what? Was it wet weather testing? They had the sprinklers on, did they? Yeah, I'm going to do that. I think I'm going to try the Lexus. What track should we do? What track do we want to see? Hey, Don. I could go through these linearly, but I really don't want to drive Silverstone just yet. Let's do Spa. That I want to try. The Lamborghini Rex. It's one of the weird little oddball cars in the game. I think it only competed at Zolder last year. Well, maybe they turned up to Silverstone as well. Not sure. Yeah, Josh, I haven't had a chance to see any of the Formula hybrids in person, but they lots of people say they sound pretty mean in person. All right, let's try the Lexus then. Hungaroring. We've already got Hungaroring in the game, so I'm going to try and prioritize stuff that's not already in the sort of previous builds. Yeah, Polaris driver swaps are they're in. I don't know how it works, but multiplayer driver swaps. They announced it. Monza, I think, that confirmed that it was going to be in. Oh man, hey everyone that said hey. I just missed about 30 messages there. Pretty busy in chat tonight. So who else is streaming? I assume literally everyone's streaming this tonight. Should we try the aggressive? Mid-engine car aggressive setup. It's bound to be a bit entertaining. You know what? We probably don't need 60 litres of fuel. Yeah, it's fine. Let's just do it. Yeah, I have no idea how driver swaps are going to be implemented, so shan't really comment on that, but yeah, I think I can't remember. There were some specifics, and they've all completely gone. But it's worth. I'm pretty sure that one of the dev blogs on the Kunos forum covers it as well. I see we've lost connection to the ranking server. Oh, what is the? What's the AI doing there?
Green light. Go, go, go.
I do hope they can find a way of making the rolling starts a little bit more sensible. Oh yeah, Lexus already feels nice and twitchy. Yeah, I'm not going as Nicky Team. That's a bit too much. We've already done the Aston anyway. Man, this Lexus feels good. I was expecting mid-engine car on the aggressive preset for it to be quite twitchy, but it feels really planted. Maybe I'm just basing that on the default setup for the Audi in Assetto Corsa 1, which you can't go anywhere near the curbs in, and has this bizarre diff setup, which is a bit. Ooh, okay, maybe maybe it is a bit rotatey. Feels good so far. I was going back through. Ooh, bit of snap oversteer there. My own fault for getting on the curb. I was going through the footage from Monza earlier of the SRO eSport races because I'm putting together a highlight reel for the stream that we're doing over the weekend, and I'd sort of forgotten that quite a few people took risks on unfamiliar cars. Whoa. that was exciting. Oh, punted round by the AI. Oh, of course the Lexus is front engine. No, you're absolutely right, man. I've just been a bit blonde there, I think.
You're halfway through. Keep pushing.
How taxing is the CPU AI? I don't know at the moment. I'm running 24 in this. I think it seems fine so far. I did have a few little issues with Zolder when it came out, whichever build that was, build 5 I think. That was a bit overly taxing on the thing. Yeah, Josh, your silver race is I can't remember who you were battling against, but okay, asking a bit much of the car there, I think. Yeah, your silver race definitely makes the highlight reel. You had a great fight to get through to the final. Okay, this car is a definite favourite. There's a sort of still need to get on top of some of the handling characteristics, but it feels really immediate. How does the force feedback feel compared to R Factor 2? Oh, someone was bound to ask. I like the force feedback in R Factor 2 a lot, but I feel like it exaggerates the bumps an awful lot, which I used to like when I was on a belt-driven wheel, but since I've gone over to direct drive, it's a bit yeah, it's just a bit much. It, you know, knackers your wrist after a few hours. So I really like the force feedback in ACC. I know a lot of people are giving it a lot of grief, particularly early on, but it feels much more like there's information from the tyres than there was in Assetto Corsa, and you can feel the weight of the car much more. I think people didn't like it because it didn't have the sort of absolutely granular detail. So yeah, I didn't really answer your question there. I really like the force feedback in ACC. Let's just leave it at that. But then again, I like lots of aspects of the force feedback in various racing sims, so none of them are perfect. Oh, was that it? Of course it's Spa. Oh no, we got one more. We're cool, we're cool. Force feedback compared to the originals at Assetto Corsa. I think I touched on that a little bit. You can feel more of the weight of the car, and you can feel... It almost feels like you can understand what the tyre sidewall's doing in a way that you never could in Assetto Corsa. But equally, some of that has come at the expense of some of the really fine, granular road detail. And I think that's why a lot of people early on sort of were complaining about it feeling like it was really dampened. Which I'm not sure if it's actually the case. I'm a bit greedy with a curb there. Inevitable. Oof. Let's just keep that crash going. Right, well I think that's enough for the Lexus. Alright, what's up next then, boys? Am I hoping for Nords so you can do VLN races? You're not going to get the Nordschleifer. I don't think any Blancpain series go there, SRO series go there. If we get any more stuff beyond the normal Blancpain GT series, like the GT4 and the Intercontinental Cup and stuff, it'll be those racetracks. So, right. Yeah, requests for next. Oh man, I need to get some mods in this chat rather than having to moderate everything myself. 911. Okay, let's do the 911. We've got two 911s because we've got the Cup Car, which in theory should be slower, so we're not going to pick that one. And we should have somewhere... Ooh, NSX. Going to have to try that. Where's the other 911? Have I gone past it? Ah, there we go. There we go. Okay, did anyone shout out any tracks? Yeah, I want to do the Ritter Engineering car. Love to see some screens of the custom weekend. Yeah, I'll tell you what, I'll do a couple more races, or I'll do another race, then I'll go through all the menu stuff for people that haven't had a chance to have a look yet. Damage model, yeah, I'll turn the damage model on in a minute, mate. But it's not very involved, the damage model. It's sort of quite superficial. You know, they run into licensing issue. Again, this isn't. I just want to be clear. This isn't from Kunos's mouth, but they just sort of run into licensing issues where they don't really want the cars all mashed up. Sadly. Right, okay, so we haven't tried Barcelona yet. That's a bit boring. So Silverstone, really, but let's do Silverstone. Is Nordschleifer in this yet? No, yeah, no Nordschleifer. I'll go back to I did Brands as the first race, guys. I'll go back to it in a bit. Oh god, racing game. Yeah, I knew I'd have some a number of people in chat giving me a bit of shit about yesterday's video, which I fully deserve, incidentally. Right, let's do the aggressive preset again. The safe ones are just too safe. I'm not saying it's specifically Ferrari, but I think they've been on record with multiple titles being a bit of a problem in the past.
Going double fine.
Esports, yeah. Oh, I think automatic clutch might have turned itself on. That's a bit annoying. Well, the crowd's about the same size as it was at Silverstone last weekend. I'll give them that.
Green light. Give it okay.
Where'd that Lambo come from? So far, so sensible. Only one layout per track, Roger. Yeah, again, it's the limitations of Blancpain. So I'm taking it a bit easy here, guys. This has got a bit of a weird feeling in the force feedback that I'm not sure if it's just if it's actually the back of the car going or bumps. So. Oof. You're absolutely mugged by the AI there. This is very snappy at the rear end. Wasn't expecting it to understeer there, actually. It's been really prone to mid-corner oversteer, like that. So yeah, initial impressions of the Porsche are, it's a bit less immediate than the Aston and the Lexus, which I think within a few corners you can sort of get the feel of how they're going to drive. I made them, oh man, AI brake, scary early there. That was a bit strange. Yeah, the Porsche's certainly on the aggressives preset is requiring quite a lot of management in a good way. I'm having to stay on top of it a lot. Sort of reminds me a bit of the wow. Reminds me quite a lot of the Emil Jag actually. Yeah, you're right, Victor. I need to drive this more like a Porsche. But it is, yeah. Finding the it's not super communicative on the grip limit mid-corner, unlike some of the other cars, which I was certainly able to, with the Lexus, I was certainly able to sort of dance it around a bit easier without it feeling really out of control. I mean, it certainly feels like a Porsche feels, certainly older Porsches actually, weirdly, obviously having much better brakes and more power and all the things you'd expect from a GT3 car. It's great through the slow stuff. Have I noticed any input lag? No. It's about the same amount of input lag I normally get with having the steering wheel turned on. in any racing sim. Oh wow. Yeah, this is slightly weird force feedback to this actually, in that it's not, normally I can feel if a car's going round sort of under pretty much any circumstances. Can't always catch it, but there was no warning there at all. And it was a very Porsche-y kind of spin, it has to be said. Sounds great though. I saw a couple of people complaining about how the Porsche sounds, but it sounds exactly like the real GT3 car to me. Inside anyway. Yeah, it's only GT3 cars in this game because it replicates a real racing series, the Blancpain GT series, which is GT3 only. Oh wow. Okay, maybe I'm going to stay off the curbs on this setup. That one was my fault, that was entirely lift-off oversteer, but... You can't feel the suspension load in ACC? Yeah, I absolutely can feel the suspension load in ACC. It's just this specific car going through that hairpin up on the curb. I had very little warning through the wheel there. That's certainly not a criticism of the force feedback model in ACC. There you go, not last. Oh, no, that's not the start finish line, is it? From the old layout. Now, not getting down on the 911. It's actually really fun to drive. It's just, it's not... Maybe it's not as immediate as... Immediate's probably the right word. Yeah, I haven't yet tried it in VR. I haven't tried. I must admit, I haven't tried it in VR since build 6. Yeah, steering ratio is 1:1 with my wheel to the screen. Paying attention to the chat and nearly driving at the back of the McLaren. Right guys, what's next then? Can you use triples without Nvidia support? Triples thing's an interesting point because my understanding is that the Unreal Engine now does support triple screens after a long time of not really supporting it. No, I haven't tried the Cup yet, the Cup car yet, mate. So in theory, the reason that they didn't include triples was because of Unreal. That barrier's now been taken away, so maybe we'll see something. Having spoken to a bunch of the guys, they want to support triple screens. This isn't the want is there. It's certainly not a choice by them. Oh, hey Steve. I haven't seen a livery editor yet, mate. Sadly. I think you know why, sadly, as well. Right. What are we going to do next then, guys? NSX at Brands. I do want to drive the NSX. Okay, that's like 3 guys saying NSX in a row. It's a sign. No, the game's not going to be moddable, mate. There's... I think the official line is there is going to be no official support for mods. So take from that what you will. In the sense that there's no official support for mods in Project Cars, but you do get a few. We need to be Riccardo Petrozzi. That's... oh, he doesn't have a picture. Of all the people not to have a picture. I'm going to get my money back. Brands, Barcelona, AMG. Yeah, I'm going to do the AMG very soon. Let's confirm that. Well, you're all saying Brands. Loads of people asking for Brands, so I'm going to do Brands again. But then we're going to do Barcelona. Is the force feedback better? I really like the force feedback, Tradesman. I've liked it since the beginning. It might be my setup, but I feel the ACC force feedback communicates a lot more nuance than Assetto Corsa did. I can feel more of the sort of tyre sidewall. I can feel more of the way the tyre interfaces with the road.
Staying double file.
Is David Perel here? He's in the game. I doubt he's in the stream, because I imagine he's in Paul Ricard at the moment, doing this for real. Ah, I've got it on the safe preset. Mistakes. Oh well, we'll see how it drives on the standard setup then. Yeah, man. I did the RCF at Spa like 2 races ago. These are going pretty quickly, actually. Maybe I can do some slightly longer races. I just thought I'd keep them at 5 minutes, just to so we can rattle through some of these combinations. Getting mugged by BMWs, standard. So far, so good for the NSX. So far, safe preset feels sort of as you'd expect, but not in a bad way. Man, so many questions, can't keep up with this. Use the Lambo at Paul Ricard. I think you're going to be seeing a lot of that over the weekend from the SRO Esports series. And since we've had Paul Ricard and the Lambo for a while, I'm going to. I might do that a bit later, but I sort of want to get through all the new content first. And I am. It's taking a while for these tyres to come in. Oh yeah, I haven't done the new Bentley either. That's a really good point. Are the Pro drivers quicker than the AM drivers in the AI? That's a really interesting point, Roger. I haven't thought about that. I will ask someone who knows over the weekend, see if we can find out. NSX feels great so far. I wish I picked the aggressive preset, so we weren't sort of comparing apples to oranges, but oh man, it's a great rejoin there, Mr. McLaren. That was public lobby stuff. How'd you get the wheel to be 1-to-1 in game with 360 degrees of rotation? Well, you need to have your wheel profiler, whether it's Logitech or Thrustmaster. The software needs to be set to 360 degrees, and then the in-game rotation needs to be set to 360. Yeah, I need a bit more. Definitely need the aggressive preset. I think that's both times at Brands I made the mistake of using the safe preset, so it's really difficult to get the car turned into some of these faster corners. But really liking the NSX. This feels great. I wish I'd chosen differently. Yeah, no, I just made the mistake of picking the safe preset, which just means it's a little bit slow on the turn in, doesn't rotate quite as aggressively. I'd have been complaining that it was too wild if I'd taken the other one.
Well done, mate. That's all the best.
Mugged by a Lambo. See what it's like on the brakes. Oh. Not good enough to do that. Hey, shit. Oh, yeah, sorry, got some comment I can't approve there. I don't think the AI is rubbish. I've got it because I got it turned down a little bit, so I'm not having to, you know, because I've not got time to run more than like 2 or 3 laps. So, you know, I'm certainly way off the pace. Yeah, I've been enjoying the AI in ACC. It's certainly an improvement over Assetto Corsa. But I mean, you know, AI is AI. It's always pretty limited. I like the race room AI until it just punts you mid-corner. And it also, you know, has the problem a lot of them do where it cheats. So, you know, there are bits of the racetrack where it can go round much, much faster than you can. Yeah, definitely recommend the NSX. This is great. Couldn't tell you if it's fast or not. Yeah, I don't know what the real.
Well done, mate. Personal fastest lap.
I don't know what the real wheel lock on a GT3 car is. I suspect it's sort of something like 540 degrees rather than 360. I think it's really only single seaters that are usually as low as 360. How is Brands realism wise? Well, as my local racetrack, I spent quite a lot of time here, and short of me not being there to watch the race, I think it's pretty good. That's a bit being a bit facetious there, but honestly, it's excellent. I think if I had to pick something I disliked about the visuals of ACC, I think and this is pretty common with most games, let alone racing sims, I think the greens are really saturated. Always looks like the sort of grass you get on a football pitch rather than in you know, a British summer where there's not been a lot of sunshine and then there's been no water for 3 months. So all looks a bit, even though they've done a really good job of making it look patchy here, it's
Neither has finished the race.
when it is sort of healthy bits of grass, it's just very sort of snooker table green. Hey Channel VR, how you doing, man? Oh, hey Phoenix. Oh, getting punted by the AI after the finish line. This is becoming a bit of a thing. Yeah, hey Phoenix. Nice seeing the stream, man. Yeah, I don't do a lot of streaming. I'm trying to do one sort of once a week, but isn't always working out. I'm trying to work out where I put my keyboard. I don't like streaming new things because I like to just spend a bit of time getting used to it and forming opinions without, you know, having people watching. Because, as you know, well, Phoenix, as modder, he did the LA Canyons mod, who I'm sure all you guys know. I don't like it when you see people stream something and they're being a bit, you know, they're being a bit critical of something because they don't understand it, or they maybe misunderstood part of how something's working. I feel it's really disingenuous when people have made loads and loads, you know, put thousands of hours of effort into, you know, a mod or a game or something like this, and then it gets absolutely rubbished because, you know, a mistake was made because someone's formed an opinion really quickly. So I like to spend a bit of time getting used to something before I sort of commit my opinions. Really allows me to sit on the fence way easier. Right, what's up next, boys? Someone was talking about the Merc. I'm really keen to drive the Merc. I also want to drive the Rotor Engineering Lamborghini Rex as well, because that's a bit of a fish out of water car, bit of an oddity. There should be the Super Trofeo car in here as well. I didn't see that as I was going through. Oh yeah, there it is. Yep, cool. Anyway, what was I? What did I say I was going to drive? The AMG. And I think we have to. They do have the blue one as well. We have to go with the Champions car, don't we? And pretending to be Marciello will make me about of a tenth of a second slower, I think. Right, where are we driving this? haven't done Barcelona yet. It has to be Barcelona. Oh, New Bentley as well. See, you guys keep coming up with really appealing choices. Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, I'm not gonna put any wet on. I'm not gonna put any wet on. I'm not gonna change the weather just now. I just want to keep everything the same, so I've got a bit of a baseline to work off of before I start changing absolutely everything. Have I tried the Porker yet? Yeah, I drove the 911 about 10 minutes ago, man. And yeah, it's a tricky car. I think I'll grow to like that, and it may well be a favourite, but it wasn't quite as obvious, quite as immediate, I think was the word I used. Hey Stuart, yeah, I deserve that after yesterday's video. Right, aggressive setup. Where are we? Barcelona. Yeah, Jack, there's two Porsches. There's the 911 GT3 and the 911 Cup Car. Already getting hit by the AI. It's, oh man, what is... I really don't like the rolling start mechanic with the AI. They're just all over the place. It's all right once you've done it once or twice with the AI. You know where they're going to be slow and where they're going to be quick, but it sort of catches you off guard a bit.
Green light, go, go, go.
This sounds great. Why is there a Cup Car in a GT3 game? Because there were Cup Cars, or a couple of Cup Cars were invited to the 24 Hours of Spa. Same with all AI having fun there. Oh, and getting punted left, right and centre for the crimp. You know what? Let's do that again. I want to give this car a fair shake. Same with the Lamborghini Super Trofeo car, which also participated at the 24 Hours of Spa. Have I driven the R Motorsports Aston? Yeah, I did. Yeah, it's where I started, man. And I tried the Lexus. The Lexus is certainly probably my favourite. Really enjoyed the NSX just now as well. Yeah, the AI may well be a little bit more A than I. I think that's the sort of accident there where, you know, someone got turned around, I had to slow to avoid them, and then I got piled into the back of. That's the sort of thing you see in real world motorsport. So, you know, I'm not too concerned about that. God, this sounds good. There you go, that's a bit more successful. Oh, understeer. Good game, bad driver. Yep, absolutely. Especially when I'm looking at the chat rather than what's going on in front of us. Sorry, Kessel Racing Ferrari. This game will live and die depending on how other cars drive at Spa. Yeah, I did quite a few laps at Spa, and ooh, bit bitey there. Yeah, I did quite a few laps at Spa in Monza, and it's excellent. Oh, I lost that all on my own. This is very much my own fault for getting on the power while I was still on the curb there. Oh well, keeps me away from the AI for a little bit. Yeah, your messages can be seen, gluten-free. Some of them don't appear. I think when you post links, I have to manually approve them. So yeah, I think if you posted any links, mate, they'll be stuck in the spam filter. I don't know if I can change that. Ironically, given that you're a mod on the Discord, I probably need some mods on here to manually approve that kind of thing. Interesting car, this. I did, I think, a solitary lap at Spa with the AMG in the wet, on presumably the wet setup. And yeah, no, I remember really liking it. And this doesn't feel anything like it, but obviously the conditions are completely different. So I don't have a huge amount of confidence in the car at the moment. I'm sure that'll come from just with a bit more practice, to be honest. But
Right, man.
certainly feels like it's got heft to it. It hasn't done anything that I wasn't expecting it to, or perhaps I couldn't attribute to something I'd done after I did it. Third person, yeah, I need to map a button to change the cameras, dude. Because at the moment I have to do it via the keyboard, which is not practical while I'm driving. I'll see if I can remember to. Need to get on the power slightly later though. Yeah, I'll see if I can remember to show you some external cams at the end. It sounds absolutely great on board. I'm catching back up with the pack now, which is nice. Actually really kind of enjoying the AMG. I think a lap ago I was a bit unsure. I guess that's the problem with making sort of snap judgments about things in really short spaces of time. PC2 looks better. I think aspects of PC2 look better. I'd agree with that. And I think aspects of this look a lot better. There's no sort of, for me, there's no sort of king in the graphics department, I think.
The leader has finished the race.
I like the textures in this, particularly the in-car textures, I think look absolutely great. Come on, Boatley. I don't think I quite got him at the line.
Good job, mate.
Nope.
Bring it back to the pits.
What does concern me about Assetto Corsa Competizione is the number of people that get into all the tracks with smoke grenades. I don't know what kind of racetracks the guys at Kunos go to, but I think they're playing Battlefield. Do I think the game runs better? Yeah, I'm running the same settings as I was in the previous version, and it feels really good actually, man. I haven't done any extensive testing, but well, let's have a listen to the outside camera of this. Tell you what, there's a bit where I'm nowhere near anyone. Exhaust sounds spot on. I'm not running a 2080, no, I'm on a 1080 Ti, man. That sounds great to me. It's just the brake squeals a bit. Brake squeal sounds a bit loud, but that might just be this camera position. You know, I've never hung 10 feet off the back wing of a GT3 car, so I really don't know whether that's accurate or not. Right, okay, that's enough of looking at the back of an AMG. RTX working in 1.0. No idea, mate. I've not got the kit to try it out. Bentley or the Rex? Yeah, both. Both are good. So whichever one's first in the list. Right, so this is an older car, so it'd be interesting if it sort of feels that way. Yeah, I thought Kartcraft VR was pretty good, Stuart. Right, I think we've done everything in the new tracks now, so it's whatever I fancy. Done Brands twice. Let's do Spa again. Everyone likes Spa. Bentley. All right, everyone's asking for the Bentley. We'll come back to the Lambo then. So is it under its own? Yeah, there we go. So 7 or the 8? Green. There we go. Spa's fine. Right, so I really liked the old Boatley, so this will be interesting to see how it sort of stacks up. That was definitely a bruiser of a car. Just point it at an apex and just plant your foot, and it just sort of went. It'll be interesting to see, given I think they did quite a bit of weight saving with this to get the C of G lower and the engine further back and all the usual sort of stuff. So it'll be interesting to see if it sort of behaves with a bit more nuance. Did I check aggressive? No, I didn't. Alright. Oh my god.
Going double
Let's
five.
oh man, I need to know what the what the buttons for let's map a button for change camera, since people keep asking. Cycle camera. Cool, right. Which of the onboard cameras is it? Probably that one. Yeah, GT3 at Spa. Yeah, I know it's a cliche, but it's one of the 4 new tracks, so I'm going to run it.
Green light. Give it all you can.
Doesn't sound as good as the old Boatley, but that's not so surprising. Well, it survived at Eau Rouge and Radeon, so that's something. Is this running on the latest Nvidia drivers? Yes, I made a point of doing that earlier. Where are we going to brake? So far so good with the Boatley. It's behaving itself. Can we go around the outside? Not quite. Didn't have any feel through the force feedback on that curve there. That was a bit of a strange one. Yeah, Bentley's really very drivable. Had to get out the power there a little bit. It was understeering a bit more than I'd expect, particularly for the aggressive presets. There might be a bit more front end bite to be found in setup, certainly. But this is very immediate so far. Fair play to the AI, he absolutely stuck with me around the outside there in a way that a human might not have had the fortitude to. He's still alongside me. Steering wheel's on the wrong side. It's really not. You get so few cars in sim racing with right-hand drive. And when you do get right-hand drive cars, they've usually got the shifter on the right, particularly in older cars. Oh, this is a beast. I am loving the Bentley. Any tips on turning back sensitivity on the potentiometer brake pedal? I've not done it in ACC. To be honest, it's been so long since I've used a potentiometer based brake that I'm probably not the right person to ask. It depends on your model. I was really enjoying, can't seem to calibrate it in Windows itself. Yeah, it's normally in the sim you can do it. You can set the sort of brake gamma, which adjusts essentially the curve, I think, of the responsiveness of the pedal, and you can usually select the start point and stop point where it starts sort of essentially measuring from. But depending on whether you've got you know, a Logitech or Thrustmaster brake pedal, there are normally good mods you can buy that certainly make life a lot easier. I had the T3PA pedals from Thrustmaster, and I bought a third-party conical mod, as they call it. The Thrustmaster one, the rubber was really hard, phrasing, and this was sort of a slightly wider, softer, more progressive thing. It just sort of it behaved in a slightly more. It just gave it a little bit more feel. See if I can hang it out around the outside of. Oh my god! I wasn't expecting the other Bentley to be so slow in the middle of there. Scary times. Okay, Bentley's an absolute winner. Oh, come on, man. Come on. I've been... oh, man. I've been defending the ACC AI throughout this stream, but... there have been a couple of frustrating little punts. I've only got the aggression set to 50% as well. What settings have you got here? Mine looks so vibrant and flat. Yeah, I can't. I'll show everyone my settings. I said I'd go to people. I'd go through the menu anyway. So I'll show my settings after this race. Turns out if you cut Radeon, you get a much better run down the straight into Les Combes. understeer massively into the guy alongside you in a way that you probably shouldn't. Is the virtual mirror available? Yes, it is. I just haven't got it turned on. I tend to race with the virtual mirror, but last time I used ACC it was for making a video, and I tend to turn all the apps and stuff off. So I lost a bit of focus after I got punted there, but yeah, Bentley is an absolute winner. I think I've enjoyed this as much as I did the RCF. Even on the aggressive preset, I think it needs a tiny bit more turning, just a little bit more on the front end. I feel it still wants to push just a little bit more than I'd like, but it's a really sorted car. I think if you're struggling to find a car you like, this is. I think that there should be something about this that everyone likes. In the same way as the old Bentley, actually. Say your name, Salty Nuts. Well, when you ask so nicely. Ooh. Last corner dive. I feel good about that. That was the right thing to do. Not my repair bill.
Right,
Bentley is mighty.
Good job. You did the best you could. I'll bring the car back.
I like how the AI just backing off immediately on the start-finish line there, because I keep looking over to the chat and driving into the back of them. Right, I'm going to show you guys visual settings. A couple of people asked. I don't think I've got everything turned up to full. Can't remember. It's been a while. Honestly, I'm just using the same settings I've been using since build 6, I think. So... what was I doing? Video settings. So... yeah, I could probably turn the view distance up, but I'm not going to muck about with any of this stuff now because it's all working fine. It looks good. Actually, yeah, I've turned down a few things, or maybe they've just been turned down by default. Actually, part of the reason it looks decent, I think, is because it's quite well optimized for higher res displays. I'm running 2560 1440, which isn't exactly, it's not 4K, but it makes a big difference over 1080p. Yeah, actually, I think this has reset at some point and I've just not noticed. So I always tend to knock the mirror quality and resolution down because it just doesn't really matter. So that's normal, but foliage down. We can turn the... oh, that's another thing. I turned the post-processing down intentionally. That was just to stop things being quite so Michael Bay in appearance. I'll turn the foliage back up because more trees is better. Someone wanted to see I can't remember what someone wanted to see something else in the options. So the championship stuff. Okay, so cool, there's a season selector, so presumably that'll go 2019 will be included in that when they launch those cars. Sprint season, endurance, or everything. So yeah, just the Sprint Cup races, the Endurance Cup races, or the combined. That makes sense to me. How many opponents can we... 65 opponents. Now, I wonder if that is limited per track, because you can't get 65 cars at Brands Hatch. That's very cool. Skill aggressiveness, damage rate, all the normal stuff. Fuel consumption, tyre sets. So limited or unlimited tyre sets, that's cool. Don't know why you'd want to turn off brake temperatures. That seems nuts to me. So that all seems pretty pretty cool. I don't know if there was anything specific you were looking for in the custom championships, but that's sort of, I think it's got the basics covered pretty well there. Lamborghini Rex, that's next up, man. I was about to drive it last time, but I got overruled. So let's go find it, because it's a bit of a dinosaur and I like that. I think we have to go for the boots and gin on car. I've only done Silverstone once. Has to be Silverstone. I'm trying to just keep to the new content, to be honest. How much difference in gameplay from this version from the last? It feels pretty similar. My brain's a bit muddled by this because I played a different build in Monza, which felt slightly different as well. So I'm not sure I could really be all that objective about specifics of what's changed because I just haven't had the ability to do back-to-back testing. But it feels really good. I think there's only been one or two little things where I've sort of eyebrow raised in confusion sort of moments. Everything else just it's behaved exactly as I'd expect it to do. Goodbye, Salty Nuts. It was lovely having you here, man. You're a credit to your name. Right, aggressive preset. You're not gonna let me okay, cool. T-Rex, yeah. Oh, it looks so good. That sound, man. I don't care if this drives badly. Oh, I was just looking at the LCD dash and just ignoring the Audi.
Green light, go, go, go.
Oh man, this sounds fantastic. Oh, that downshift sound. It had no mid-corner grip, though I wonder if I was being lent on a bit by that Rinaldi racing Ferrari there. Oh, this is amazing. Why did I wait this long to try this? What screen size and FOV? It's a 32-inch, and I'll bring up the FOV when we're paused at the end of the game because I have no idea. I'm quite close to the screen though. I've got my screen like it's about 3 inches behind the paddle shifters, so I think my screen's probably a bit closer than most people typically have it. Oh, that downshift sound is extraordinary. So yeah, driving-wise, it's a bit strange this one. It's sort of interesting combination of over and understeer through every single part of the corner. It sort of pushes, then the back goes. Reminds me a little bit of the Enel Frey Jag. Yeah, the preset, the presets are based on the track. Sorry, I missed the question in there. I think I read that in one of the development blogs, I think. So yeah, interesting car. I mean, it certainly wasn't competitive last season for the, I think, 2 races they turned up for. I'm not even sure it qualified for one of them. Certainly remember it racing. It was older. The Boots and Gin on one. Well down the order, probably about a lap down by halfway through the first race. Looked very much not the car to have.
We are halfway through, keep pushing.
But you know, it is an older car. A much older car. But this feels great. It doesn't feel anything like any of the other cars. Carl, I'm driving the Ritter Engineering Lamborghini Rex. It's is it based on the Murcielago? I think so. I'm getting confused now, but I think it's a mid 2000s car, sort of dragged to modern GT3 standards. I'm sort of quite surprised. Be interesting to see what the homologation date on it is. Have I tried the Audi R8 yet? No, I haven't. That's a really good point because that is my That is my car, GT3 car, and Assetto Corsa. Wow. Okay. Yeah, that was all my fault. Go for a Forza lobby rejoin there. This is a really great fun car. Yeah, sorry, it was based on the Gallardo, not the Murcielago. Sorry, I was trying to concentrate on 9 things at once and doing them all quite badly. It feels good though. I mean,
Right, man. The leader is on the final
it
lap.
does have that vibe of the earlier sort of GT1 cars. Obviously not quite as insane, but just something about the feel and the sound.
Well done, mate.
Just a little bit reminiscent of it. Oh wow, don't brake on the curb. Oh, that might be enough of that. No, actually that's a really enjoyable car, guys. That was my terrible driving and concentrating on the chat as well. Yeah, it's not a factory car. It's yeah, as Chrissy says, it's a Ritter engineering job, much like the Emil Frey Jag is. In fact, there's quite a lot in common with the Emil Frey Jag in a lot of ways, because that's an older car as well. Right, so what haven't we done yet? I said I was going to do the Audi next. Can't imagine how hard it is to drive and respond to chat. Some people are really, really good at it. I'm not one of those people. I could probably get good at it if I streamed more than... well, this is, I think, the 3rd one I've ever done. So, like anything, I assume it's practice. Thoughts on Leclerc's season so far? Oh, man. Started off so well. Show how it drives in third-person view. I can do a little bit in third person. I haven't driven in third person since racing games started to introduce first person views, so be interesting to see how that goes. Right, what are we gonna do? We are gonna drive the Audi, aren't we? It's probably just gonna be the WRT number 1. Oh, we could do the Montplus car. That's cool. That was 24 hours of Spa, 1 off, I think. Honda NSX. I've driven the NSX already, Stevie. It was great. That's my 3-word review. Are we back round to Brands again? I think we are. All right, we're doing Brands again. Might start driving some of the older circuits, so I don't get burnt out on all these. So yeah, again, we'll go with the aggressive.
Go in double file.
I want it to look how my wheel is IRL. Oh yes, oh yeah, McLaren you can drive as Chris Harris. That's a good point. I haven't driven the McLaren yet. That's next up then. That's one of the Garage 59 cars ahead as well. I'm guessing it's the 59 car, not the AM car. Oh yeah, it says Pro on the back, so.
Green light. Go, go, go.
Oh, getting jagged. Lexus even, so. Yeah, as you'd expect, it's really, wow, that's standard turn 1 shenanigans there with the AI. Yeah, this thing's really responsive, as you'd expect for a mid-engine car. It's actually, if anything, it reminds me of the Audi R8 in Assetto Corsa once you get a decent setup on it, which is probably a good thing. Yeah, all good so far. I mean, it looks very, obviously, same car, because this isn't the Evo model, but the EVO 2019 model. the 2016, I think. Yeah, because they're 3-year cycles with these things, aren't they? So, yeah, unsurprisingly, it looks identical to the one in Assetto Corsa. There might be some minor differences. I don't know if there's any sort of specific team-based tweaks or anything, but I think you're pretty hamstrung by the homologation requirements, aren't you? So, yeah, I'm getting the feeling that the aggressive preset on the Audi is really, really nailed on. I mean, anyone that's stuck around since earlier in the stream where I was absolutely floundering around brands with the Aston in particular, which I stuck with the old safe setup on. I couldn't get the car turned into corners at all. And, it was probably a second and a half, 2 seconds a lap off of the AI pace. This is nothing like that. So I don't know if it's just that the setup is particularly good on this car or BOP is not quite right, but this feels great to drive. I feel like I could get up to the pace pretty quickly on this. Yeah, what's nice about it is it feels very much like I expected it should do. And that's something that's always felt about the Audi in the previous Assetto Corsas. Once you get it past a certain slip angle, it really doesn't want to come back. Game's getting pretty RAM hungry. I'm only running... I think I do have 16 on this. Get a bit confused because I've had a bit of a swap round with because I'm running a separate machine for my editing and streaming rig these days, so they're both pretty much identical specs. I just think I ended up leaving 16 in this. All my own fault there. I can't get that greedy with the curbs. I want to have a listen to how this sounds. I think, Sam, VR, I think some of the limitations are because of Unreal a bit, from what I understand. No, Stevie, the AI is only... I'm running on, I think it was 90 or 95 or something, I can't remember. It's because I'm only jumping in straight away, not having a chance to sort of get used to the cars. I'm only doing a lap or two at a time, so it's limitations of my driving at the moment. Well, it sounds like the Audi. The Audis and Huracans, for anyone that hasn't been to a Blancpain race recently or a Gt3 event, just sound absolutely fantastic screaming away. You mix it in. That's one of my favourite things about going to all these Blancpain races over the last year or so, is that when you go to particularly the endurance events, you've got this huge range of different sounding cars that when they all sort of blend together just sound absolutely fantastic. You know, you get a screaming Lambo go past with a Bentley, whatever, it just sounds absolutely great. Anyway, we've still got a whole bunch of other stuff. A quick reminder, switching to third person to check how it drives. Yeah, I mapped a button for that. I'll do that on the next one, man. Sounds in the game are absolutely spot on, Chris. I agree. That's one of the things that I sometimes get a bit funny about, because people will talk about how certain sims sound really, really good. And they do sound good, but they don't necessarily sound like the real car. There are lots of people like, oh, this car sounds fantastic. And it does, because it's all you can hear is the engine sound. But, you know, when you listen to real onboards from that particular car, you'll get huge amounts of diff and gear train noise and all of that stuff. So Yeah, Misano. Let's do some Misano, actually. That's a good point. Actually, let's choose a car first. That's how a sensible person would do this. Right, so we haven't done the Porsche Cup Car. We haven't done the Super Trofeo Huracan, but I expect that's going to be pretty similar to the normal Huracan. So yeah, it might be the Cup Car next. You want to be Pierre? Bob. That's a safe name to go with. Let's be Bob. RF8 and Huracan double the V10. Not even mad. I'm going to do Misano because I fancy doing Misano. Oh, McLaren. Good point. Thank you, man. I totally forgot that I was going to do the McLaren next. So we have to be Mr. Harris, don't we? It's the rules. McLaren at Misano. Sounds good to me. Yeah, the pit lane is totally nuts at Misano. And the entry's all right, but the exit's about 4.5 miles long. Oh, no. We're going on to the aggressive setup. We're not doing that. If there was only a Jeff you could pick. Yeah, I think a Jeff or I'd normally go for a Dave. You know what you're getting with a Dave. Aggressive, take a bit of fuel out because why not? Oh, thanks, Sam. That's really cool. I try and make high quality videos, and I try and make really keep expectations really low for the streams. I've got some cool stuff coming up. I've got some interesting stuff in the works that might take a little bit of time to get off the ground because I think I'm starting to get a bit big for my boots and getting bigger ideas. But I'm still really enjoying making stuff for YouTube. Really surprising actually that I've been doing this just over a year now, and lots of people have told me that give it 6 months, you get bored of it. Including people that have had reasonably successful channels. But I'm really enjoying it. I really just hello. I think I just got a bit lent on by that Lexus there. Sorry, I got a bit concentraty. Oh, McLaren is very responsive. There's another car that just seemed, well, tyres aren't even up to temperature yet, so I might be jumping the gun a little bit, but just seems to go where I put it. Maybe it's because I'm driving as Chris Harris. Actually, when I was driving as Riccardo Patrese earlier, I had no trouble at all either. So maybe I'm just picking the wrong guy. I can't believe I'm about to say this, but thanks, Pond Scum. I really appreciate it. I was not going to let him through on the inside there. I don't know how this is going to turn in at high speed. Really well. That's just one of those corners where you've got to have so much confidence in the car. This car is fantastic. See how it handles massive amounts of curb? Oh, perfectly. Alright, McLaren's the new hotness. I'll even put up with me taking the mickey a bit with the curbs as well. Perfect, love it. Let's have more like this, please. Might be getting a bit cocky with the car at the moment. Oh, thanks, Bonkers.
We are halfway through. Keep it up.
Okay, I might just drive the McLaren for the rest of the time. mean, I am from a couple of miles outside Woking, so it feels right. Man, that AMG got a great drive off the inside of the corner there. Was not expecting both of them to back off. Alright, you can have it. You can have it. Tell you what, points to Kunos for implementing Helicorsa in ACC. They hired Kevin to do some of the multiplayer and stat related stuff. He's got a lot of sort of database background. Clever guy, nice guy actually. And it's nice that they incorporated sort of his probably best known app into the game, and it saved my life there when the AI was doing all sorts of insane things. Force feedback's really good. Told me about that slide when I am really trying to push the car well beyond what it should be able to do, I think, in the sense that I'm driving it in a really, really lumpy way. Does the McLaren feel better than Assetto Corsa? Yeah, 1,000 times better. Never a fan of the McLaren GT3 and AC, either of them actually. But this is fantastic. What's the maximum grid size? 65. It varies from track to track based on the number of pit boxes, but just confirmed by looking at the custom championships, you can run 65, which I assume is only at Spa. Okay, this car is excellent, and the force feedback is... It's not the most... It's not the strongest. It doesn't make you feel like you're, battling Vikings like it does in some cars, but it tells you everything you need to know. Love this car, brilliant, but can't say enough good things about it. Shame most Kunos devs are arrogant and don't like any type of criticism. I couldn't disagree more, man. I've given them plenty of feedback over the years, and had the pleasure of meeting a number of them over that time, and I think they've always been very receptive. It can be difficult over forums, and I know why some people get the impression that they're arrogant. I think that you have to remember that the internet can make communication a bit more difficult. It's not necessarily any of the devs' first language if you're speaking in English as well. So, and of course they're a bit protective of their baby as well. So I get why sometimes it can come across that way, but they're a really great group of guys, and they're genuine racers. They just want to make the best possible driving game they can. Can you imagine the game performance for 65 AI? Yeah, the thought ran through my head as I saw the grid size, whether I just wanted to top this off trying to do 65 AI at Spa. Okay, we're pushing the limits of what this car can do.
The leader has finished the race.
I might have the penalties turned off, I'm guessing. If I don't, then that's an oversight. What a great car. What a terrible final couple of corners. I haven't tried the career mode, Dino. We just had a look in the settings, and it looks like... Oh, third person view. Yes, I can do. Right. Oh, getting... concentrating on all the wrong things. Car's not going. Nope, not letting me go anymore. Sorry, man. That was... if I didn't make contact with that Bentley just as I was switching cameras, I think we'd have been okay, but it stopped me driving. I'll tell you what, I'm going to very quickly restart it and just do half a lap for you in third person mode. Mainly because the idea seems
Staying
completely
double
nuts to
fine.
me. Might need to turn some of the HUD on. Oh no, we're in gear, we're cool. It looks good. Oh, Gt3 Cup Car
Green
because you've
light.
been in
Go,
one.
go,
I
go.
mean, yeah, I can't say no to that, can I? Oh man, this feels wrong. Tell you what, you can see where the what the AI are doing though. It's so disconcerting, the feeling of force feedback being outside of the car. It's take a bit of the old rallycross route there. It feels a lot more like driving a boat than it does a car. Yeah, I mean, in Italy, calling someone an idiot doesn't have the same weight as in English culture. You know, that's probably fair. I'm going to see if I can complete the lap. See if I can get that place back from the Montplast Audi. I'll take that as a yes. Oh wow. Look right, really looks right. Alright. This is... that's pretty much impossible. I hope you got what you needed from that, man. But... third-person view isn't really for me. I used to drive, like, you know, even Gran Turismo 2 and 3 and stuff. As soon as they started introducing in-car views, I used to drive in car. Just totally mad. Now I know everything about, you know, field of view and stuff like that. But you know, just bring the chair closer to the TV. It's probably why I need glasses. How's the helmet cam? Go on, I'll find. I'm still here, so I just went past it. Oh, they all look the same to me. There we go, helmet cam. Oh, it's. Is it realistic? I don't know. It feels a bit like you're on a boat. It's listing as you go through corners. I guess that's the, you know, tipping your head to the inside to counteract the G-forces, but it looks a bit, you know, that's totally mad.
We are at the halfway mark. Still a long way to go.
I don't know, man. I think these views are meant for different things. I edited, as I was saying earlier in the stream, I edited together some footage for the highlights reel for the SRO Esport GT Series first round, and that's got a bunch of the helmet cam footage in that looks great, but that's because I'm not driving it. I'll tell you what, let's take a moment to appreciate how great that Alcantara looks on the dash. That looks absolutely real. But the interior of this car is fantastic. But that's enough for me, I think. Let's try the Gt3 Cup car. So I can't remember who said it was. Said they'd driven in a real one, so they can laugh at how bad I am in Porsches. McLaren's great. Had I mentioned McLaren? GT3 Cup. Oh, we decided we needed to go with Bob, didn't we? Oh, we got a Gregory. No, he went to public school. Let's have Bob. Where do I want to drive? It has to be Spa, doesn't it? I mean, that's the only place it drove in the championship, so... Shall I see if I can turn the AI up to 65? Let's just see. 29 there. You can do 65 in the champion. That might be because it's a quick race. I'm not going to do a endurance. No, that's limited to 29. So that's kind of weird. Custom race weekend. Oh my god. Does that go past? No, it seems all of these are limited to 29, but weirdly, the selector in the custom championship allows you to go up to 65. Oh, you've driven in one as a passenger, not a... I tried, man, so difficult to drive. Have good luck. Was the Cup Car on Super Trofeo a surprise? No, man, Andrew. They said they were going to release everything that raced in the real championship. So now let's try 29 AI. See how that hits the performance. They said they were going to run everything that ran in the championship. So because they ran at Spa, I was expecting them. They're slightly odd cars to include, but I presume that the Super Trofeo is, you know, pretty similar to the Huracan GT3, so I assume a lot of the modelling is already done. And I don't know about the Cup Car. That's sort of out of my wheelhouse, really. I don't really know what I'm talking about there. I'd have to do a bit of research. But I'm really glad they've included the Cup Car, because assuming there's an ability to sort of have a grid editor, and if there isn't, then I know there are a couple of mods already floating around for sort of data-driven stuff rather than, you know, if not actual cars and tracks and stuff. Hopefully you'll be able to set a custom grid and just do Cup Cars. Mercedes sounds great, man. Absolutely brilliant. Oh, we're in the helmet can. Let's lose that. Trofeo next. Yeah, I think it's the only car I haven't driven now. Unless there's something I'm forgetting. Seems to be coping with 29 AI at the moment. I'm not getting any frame rate issues. And as I said, when build 5 or 6 came out, I had to knock down the number of AI by a couple. So from the normal 24 just to get smooth frame rate. So it looks like things are certainly improved. It might just be because Zolder was particularly bad in terms of objects and stuff. Callaway C7 GT3 at Spa. Yeah, I would have thought so, but AI braked a lot earlier than I thought they were going to there. Well, this doesn't feel like the Cup Car does in Assetto Corsa, and I think that a lot of that is to do with the setup. This is much more neutral, and I say that as just in a very complimentary way. Yeah, just didn't see the Bentley there. Oh, we're getting tipped again. Well, that was probably my own fault. But overheated rears slightly. Oh well, we'll get a chance to actually see how the car drives rather than battling around with the AI. Ooh, yeah, okay, rears are just a little bit on the hot side. Need to be a bit more careful with them. No, actually now it's a bit warmer. It does feel a bit more like the Cup Car in an Assetto Corsa. .75 FPS locked, was it, on previous build? I didn't notice that. Ooh, got a BMW taking the scenic route there.
We are halfway through.
That's a
Not
traction
over yet.
control setting. Ah, of course it doesn't have traction control, does it? Definitely drives like it doesn't have traction control. Oh, it is very... Yeah. Someone said in the chat a minute ago that it was a tricky car, and for the first half of the first lap, it certainly felt great. But that was on cold tyres, and I think it had a bit of just a little bit of natural understeer on the cold fronts that was counteracting some of the will for the tail to come round in that sort of natural Porsche. They put the engine at the wrong end sort of way. Yeah, this couldn't be more different from the McLaren. I think if you got to know this car and weren't amateurly hatcheting away at the wheel like I am, I think it'd be a very rewarding driving experience. But it's got the usual... It's got that usual Porsche thing that if you trail brake into corners, you kind of need to a little bit to get the front end to bite, but you take that too far into the turn, and of course the back wants to come round. I mean, it feels very Porsche-like. I know that's a really unhelpful descriptor, but it feels very good actually. It's just not a car I'm overly enjoying driving while concentrating on other things. Oh god, we're not in last. Yeah, I need to be a bit more gentle coming on and off of the coming off of the throttle. How is it over the curbs? Ooh. Bit sensitive. This is your drift car. Yeah. Oh, that's the recovering rower racing car. There you go. Yeah, interesting. I mean, it's sort of fun. Very light and floaty at the back, as you'd expect. It's certainly, it slides, but you can feel it and catch it. I think if you like that sort of Porsche way of driving, that really classic, it felt surprisingly like the 964, the one they just did in Race Room. That was the first car that sort of sprung to mind. Obviously, it's much quicker and it's got carbon brakes and all the modern stuff, but no traction control, engine at the wrong end. Yeah, it feels like a Porsche. Be gentle with it, just as a woman, just not with all of them. Right, Super Trofeo then. I think that's the only thing I haven't driven now. What haven't I driven today? I think I've only done Barcelona once. It's not my favourite track in the world, it has to be said. So, yeah, I mean, these cars, the 911 Cup and the Super Trofeo, weren't super competitive at Spa. So I don't know how they're BOP'd in the game. That's a question I've got to ask the guys, whoever's at Paul Ricard. It'll be interesting to see if they've sort of fudged them to make them a bit more competitive. Because I know the BOP is based on the actual Blancpain BOP
Staying double
data,
file.
which is very cool. I think I mean that's got to be a first for a racing sim. So, Super Trofeo, what does that do? Seems to be getting a few little frame rate stutters, although that might just be vibration actually. Yeah, sorry man,
Green line. Give it all you got.
I don't speak Spanish. I took Spanish classes in school, but that was a very long time ago. The 720S GT3 isn't in the game because it... Oh man, getting punted. Might have been my fault, I might have been drifting across a bit there. Let's start that one again. Yeah, I suspected it was Portuguese, but I was going with your assumption, Chris. No, there's no 720S GT3 because there wasn't one in the 2018 Blancpain Championship.
Going double file.
Have I driven the AMG GT3? Yeah, I drove it here actually at Catalunya. Hey Martin. Yeah, actually, I drove it in Monza as well when I was there with the Blancpain, sorry, the SRO Esports series. And I drove a lap or two at a wet Spa, and I thought it was absolutely the best car I'd ever driven in the world. And then I drove it at Catalunya and had a bit of a dog of a drive with it. So I might go back to it at a track that I don't hate as much.
Green line. Give it all you can.
Right. Yeah, they're definitely studs. Oh man, that was me looking over at chat. Right, stay with this. Apologies, guys. That was my own fault for looking over at chat. I think I just drifted across the track a bit there. So yeah, it feels quite like the Huracan, as you'd expect. Ooh, stay off the curb. That was unpleasant. Be very gentle on the power with this. Don't know what how many traction control levels we've got. So it was on 5, which is probably about right for the aggressive. It's just didn't like applying power even gradually through the fast turn. Man, stay off the curbs. This thing really hates the curbs. Yeah, I'm getting some frame rate stutters now as well, so maybe 29 cars is a little bit optimistic for my settings. I think I'm a bit CPU limited here. I'm on an old 4790K. Fast chip in its time, but it's not certainly next thing to upgrade, I think. Can't run it with a Pimax. Have you got a Pimax, Jeff? How do you find it? Yeah, this does remind me that, unsurprisingly, of the Huracan.
We are halfway through. Keep pushing.
It's just got this setup on this track. Certainly, it's just got a bit of a weird instability in the curbs. It's sort of, maybe it's a damper thing. And I feel like I'm having to be slower feeding in the power than I would be with a normal Huracan. Ooh. Yeah, curbs are not a thing with this setup. Yeah, not enjoying this car one bit on the setup. It might be fine on the safe, but I suspect it'll be very understeery. I mean, it is a touch, but it's just, it's one of those things where I really do think that what I dislike about this car is just the setup, and it's nothing to do with the car itself. Which is why I don't like sort of commenting on these sort of things too often, because you just end up saying something's rubbish, and it turns out that it's just, oh, you know, tweak a couple of settings and actually it's fine. But I can't get the power down going through the final turn there at all.
But on the Corsa stuff so far.
No, I'm not GPU bound. I think I'm only using about... It only ends up using about 80-85%. So yeah, I'm gonna call it a day with that, because I'm just not enjoying that car at all. I think the setup is not to my taste at all. So what I think I might do, guys, because I've got an early flight in the morning, I've got to leave the house at sort of 4:45. So I'm going to do one more race in something that was enjoyable. So let's go back to the McLaren, because that was really good fun. Do the sensible thing and can be Chris Harris again. How to remove all the information from the screen. Yeah, if you go into the HUD settings in the menu, I'll show you in a minute when we get in the game, man. Right, one more circuit. What do we want to see? Not doing Monza. Yeah, the Jens, sorry. The current F1 circuit layout's awful. The MotoGP layout, which avoids the chicane and takes the old route, is much better. But I've never been a huge fan of Circuit de Catalunya anyway. I've got to pick a circuit. It's not going to be Port Ricard, that's for sure. We'll do brands. I know I've done it a couple of times on the stream already, guys, but I kind of want to show off the new content anyway, so let's see what the McLaren's like at brands. All nice and local to me. I like that. Yeah, I think it is CPU pegged, man. So it really is. I've been holding out to avoid trying to buy one. Hey, Voss Stampen, thanks, man. Glad you like the videos. I'm going to keep making them. I'm really enjoying it at the moment. So, no, Anthony, I'm not using triples. I actually gave up with the triples route because I was using triple 1440p monitors, and iRacing was great in it. R Factor was difficult, particularly on tracks like Sebring, which are really intensive on some of the sheer number of objects. Race Room was alright, Assetto Corsa was alright, but once you got ACC, it was just triples in 1440p was, I mean, that's essentially running like two 4K monitors. It's just insane. It really wasn't having it. So I've just got one 32-inch 1440p monitor these days, and VR for when I'm not sort of streaming or making videos. I can't remember if I yeah, I already did do all of this, then I got distracted by chat. Yeah, I won't miss it from the F1 calendar. It's anyone know if multiplayer's working? It wasn't when I checked about an hour before the new build went up. That's for sure. Oh, sorry, Bensonius Prime, if that's how you pronounce your name. You're for some reason your comment got flagged by the bot there. Sorry, man. Right, let's drive this because I need to go to bed because I need to wake up in about 15 minutes. Yeah, Anthony. I'm running a 1080 Ti as well, so I know the struggles. 9900Ks have got heat problems, have they? Yeah, I haven't really started looking into it yet, man. I need to do something about heat management with this rig anyway, because at the moment all the fans are exhausting right into my right arm, and I've been doing this for a couple of hours now, and it's getting pretty toasty, if I'm honest.
Green light, you guys okay?
I'm running the Rift, man. I love this McLaren. I also secretly really enjoy doing that. I know it's super unrealistic, but who cares? Is anyone managing to do this multiplayer, or are all the streamers doing what I'm doing and just being magpies for all the new content and just jumping around in single player games? I'm being a bit cautious with the McLaren because the other cars I've driven around here have been a bit understeery, so I'm leaving a lot on the table through these fast corners at the moment. But it's just got such a good front end that I know in about 2 laps time I'm going to go through there about 50 kilometers an hour faster and just end up in the barrier. It's just willing me to push harder and harder. It's just such a great setup on what I think is a really good car. Thank you, Corsa, for saving me there. See, the real problem with Brands Hatch is that this is about the only section of the track where I can look at the chat. Popular enough to start breaking into mainstreams, there'll be lots of kids asking whether the ACC port supports gamepads. Yeah, that's going to be a thing, you know. Jimmy's got over 250,000 subs now, isn't it? I mean, it's not quite a household name, you know. No one's going to be knocking on his doorbell to start hosting game shows. Although that's maybe something we should have happen. But yeah, 250, it's probably 300 by now, who knows? It's such an insane number for someone that's come from the, you know, as I may have got a bit of flack for calling it the other day, the nerdy end of sim racing, you know. It's not like we're all playing streaming Need for Speed Shift or whatever, is it? Although, that being said, Kunos sold 1 million copies of Assetto Corsa last year across all platforms. 1 million. So that seems, you know, it's not exactly the sort of, it's not as small as I thought it would be anyway. Need to find some pace in this car, but really enjoying the driving experience. Wide curve triples, didn't really like it. I had my first experience with an ultra wide recently, and I really enjoyed that. I actually thought it was a really good sort of halfway house. Do I ever read his chat? It's like primary school. I think I do stop in on Jimmy's streams. I don't tend to participate in the chat because there's
Okay,
not a lot to say that doesn't make it,
Give it all you can.
start making it about me, which I don't want to do that. But I think the thing about Jimmy's chat that always sort of blows my mind is how fast it goes. Yeah, you're always going to get, younger people that are drawn towards more popular YouTubers. That's kind of comes with the territory, doesn't it? So you are going to get some asinine questions. How that video I put up yesterday got some pretty interesting comments. I must say the vast majority were very positive and sort of got the spirit of the discussion, even if they completely disagreed. There were one or two that were a bit aggressively nasty, so I'll leave it at that. I don't tend to get too much of that, it has to be said. My YouTube algorithm pleasing skills don't tend to put my videos in front of the audience really beyond the sort of core sim racing guys. The vast majority of people that sort of stumble across my videos tend to just be people that are insiders rather than outsiders, for want of a better word.
Leader has finished the race.
Leaders finished the race. Yeah, I haven't. I've been chatting rather than paying attention. Jimmy's got 261k. Oh, pay attention. How's the live streaming going? This is third stream, and it's been a bit of an interesting one.
Good job. You did the best you could.
Still learning what I'm doing. I think the big takeaway for me is to not stare at the chat while I'm supposed to be racing. People upset at yesterday's video were exactly the video that people was aimed at. Yeah, I didn't want to say that. I thought about copy and pasting it into the response, but yeah, it winds me up. I think we've got a great community for the most part, but there are just a small percentage of people that are just really, really elitist, take everything way too seriously, and just make it a nasty place to be at times. You go onto race department and you see the same names on every forum thread, just coming in and derailing everything with their, gatekeeping probably is the right word, but they just get so protective over their pet sims. It just drives me nuts. I feel though, if you think elitist attitude in sim racing is quite bad, if you need more people to keep it alive. Yeah, you get that in all sorts of clubs and groups though, don't you? You get the original sort of core people who know better than everyone else that start discouraging new members from coming in and doing things their own way, which is just really bad. That's all right, Darby. I've not really been taking the stream particularly seriously from a driving standpoint. I just thought it would be fun to hang out with you guys and talk about some of the new content. I think we're at a stage now where any sort of insight or insider knowledge I might have had about ACC is now gone because it's all out in the public. So it was just nice to be able to communicate some of the stuff that I've been really excited about for a long time. Anyway, guys, as I've mentioned before, I've got a flight to be on at 6:30 tomorrow morning, so I've got to get up. It's got a 4 in front of it. I can't remember the time. Criticise RF2 on Race Department when they released the God of Thunder on you. That is entirely accurate. Yeah. Anyway, guys, I'm going to wrap it up there. Thank you so much for everyone that came and watched the stream, and everyone that got involved in the chat, asked questions. It's been really good fun. I'm going to keep doing these streams. I'm going to try and do them once a week. If you're interested in any more ACC content over the next few days, I will be in where am I going to be? I'm going to be in Port Ricard in France with the SRO Esport GT series, and we're going to be streaming all 4 races from there. I'll get you guys a proper schedule once I've got one. I've got an overview of when the races should be, but an actual proper streaming schedule I don't have yet, so I'll get that as soon as I've got it. Otherwise, guys, thank you very much for joining in. thank you so much for taking part in the stream, and I will catch you next time.